The Universal Declaration. The silence of the Galactic Communication Network was shattered by an unexpected broadcast. Across thousands of systems, from the glittering capitals of the Galactic Empire to the dim corners of mining colonies, every screen flickered and froze. The emblem of Earth, a blue sphere encased in a protective silver shield, appeared on the screens, followed by the calm but firm voice of an Earth representative. "This is the United Terran Council," the voice began, effective immediately. "The Galactic Empire is hereby banned from entering Earth's territory. Any violation of this decree will result in irreversible consequences." The broadcast repeated 3 times before vanishing, as suddenly as it had appeared. For a moment, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath, stunned by the audacity of Earth, a planet once considered insignificant in the grand scheme of galactic politics. In the Empire's core command center, Admiral Calvar, a towering figure with a reputation for ruthless efficiency, slammed his fist on the control panel. "What arrogance!" he growled. His officers exchanged uneasy glances, hesitant to speak. "Earth is a backwater," Calvar continued, pacing in front of the holographic map of the galaxy. "How dare they defy the Empire? I want answers. Now." On the edges of the Empire's territory, in the bustling Traloon station, the news of Earth's declaration spread like wildfire. Traders, smugglers, and drifters huddled in smoky cantinas, their whispers filled with equal parts fear and curiosity. "Did you hear? Earth's gone mad," a green-skinned merchant said, leaning over a table. "They think they can ban the Empire." A scared smuggler chuckled. "Maybe they found something. Something powerful." "Like what?" another asked, his voice trembling. "Who knows? But they wouldn't make a move like this without reason." While rumors swirled, Admiral Calvar sent a scout ship, the Vanguard, to investigate Earth's new defenses. The small, nimble craft sped through hyperspace, its crew of elite pilots and technicians confident in their mission. They didn't expect resistance. Earth, after all, was still viewed as a minor player in the galactic arena. As the Vanguard approached Earth's outer perimeter, strange anomalies began to disrupt its systems. The ship's lights flickered, and its navigation console sparked. The pilot, a seasoned veteran, frowned. "We're losing power," she reported, her voice steady but tinged with concern. "Impossible," replied the ship's engineer. "There's nothing out here that could interfere with us." Moments later, an eerie signal flooded their communication channels. It wasn't a voice, but a series of distorted tones that sent chills down the crew's spines. The pilot's hands trembled as she attempted to recalibrate the systems. "It's like something's watching us." Without warning, an invisible force gripped the ship. Alarms blared as the hull groaned under immense pressure. The crew scrambled to regain control, but it was futile. The Vanguard began to implode, crushed by an unseen power. The ship's distress signal reached Admiral Calvar just before it vanished. The message was fragmented, but the last words of the pilot were clear. "It's not a weapon. It's something else." Calvar stared at the report, his face a mask of fury and disbelief. "What in the void is Earth hiding?" he muttered. Back on Earth, the United Terran Council convened in a high-security chamber beneath the Andes Mountains. The room was filled with representatives from every continent, their expressions a mix of determination and apprehension. "Do you think they'll retaliate?" one representative asked. "They will," another replied, her tone grim. "But we've given them something to fear. They won't act recklessly." At the head of the table, Council Leader Ilara Kane spoke. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with resolve. "We've made our stand. The galaxy has exploited us for too long. They think Earth is weak, but we've shown them otherwise. Now we must prepare for the consequences." As the meeting continued, Earth's citizens watched the skies with a mixture of pride and unease. They didn't know the details of their leaders' plans, but they trusted in the Council's promise to protect them. In the depths of space, the Galactic Empire's fleet assembled, their warships casting long shadows over distant stars. Admiral Calvar addressed his officers, his voice cold and commanding. Earth has challenged us. We will uncover their secrets, and we will remind them why the Empire reigns supreme. The first move had been made, and the galaxy braced itself for what was to come. Earth's bold declaration had set the stage for a conflict that would change the balance of power forever. The Forbidden Zone. The Galactic Empire was not accustomed to being defied. For centuries, its vast fleet and unyielding rule had crushed rebellions and silenced dissent. But Earth's sudden, audacious declaration was different. The small blue planet had not just refused to comply. It had dared to draw a line in the stars, a line that even the mightiest empire feared to cross. Admiral Calvar, now burning with curiosity and rage, ordered the deployment of the Horizon, a stealth reconnaissance vessel equipped with cloaking technology and advanced scanners. Its mission: infiltrate Earth's forbidden zone, gather intelligence, and uncover the secret behind the planet's mysterious power. The journey to the edge. The Horizon slipped through hyperspace like a shadow, its sleek black hull absorbing the light of distant stars. Inside, its 5-member crew operated in tense silence. Lieutenant Sora Linth, the ship's pilot, was among the best in the Empire. Her sharp instincts and calm demeanor had earned her a reputation for navigating dangerous missions. But this time, even she felt unease. Approaching Earth's perimeter, Sora announced, her hand steady on the controls. Commander Rael Maris, the mission leader, leaned over her console. His chiseled features were set in a grim expression. Activate cloaking. No transmissions unless absolutely necessary. The crew obeyed, and the Horizon vanished from sight, a ghost ship in the void. As they drew closer to Earth's designated border, the ship's scanners began to behave erratically. "Commander, I'm detecting anomalies," said Taran Velk, the ship's technician. His voice wavered as he stared at the data streaming across his screen. "It's like the laws of physics are bending out there." "Clarify," Rael demanded. "Gravitational spikes, electromagnetic bursts, and something else. It's as if space itself is rippling." Rael frowned but gave the order to proceed. "We're here to learn what Earth is hiding. Stay sharp." Crossing the line. As the Horizon breached the boundary of Earth's forbidden zone, the crew braced themselves. At first, nothing happened. The stars outside the viewport glimmered faintly, and Earth's blue-green sphere lay tranquil in the distance. But then the lights dimmed. Instruments flickered. A low hum filled the ship, not mechanical, but something else, something alive. "Status report," Rael barked. Sora struggled with the controls. "The ship's systems are responding sluggishly. It's like something's interfering." Taran's hands flew over the console. "Commander, it's not interference. It's disruption. Our power levels are fluctuating, and I can't isolate the cause." Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. A tremor ran through the hull, like the vibrations of a giant heartbeat. Outside, the void seemed to shimmer, distorting the stars into jagged streaks. "Visual anomaly," Sora shouted. On the main screen, the crew saw a faint golden glow surrounding the ship, twisting and writhing like smoke. It wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was intelligent. Rael's voice turned cold. "Reverse course. Now." Sora yanked the controls, but the ship refused to move. The golden mist coiled tighter, pressing against the horizon like an invisible hand. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the crew's bones. And then a voice came. The warning. It wasn't a voice in the traditional sense. It didn't come from the speakers or the comm system. It came from everywhere and nowhere, resonating directly in their minds. "You were warned. Leave or be unmade." The crew froze, their breaths caught in their throats. Rael was the first to recover. "Who are you? What is this?" he demanded, though his voice betrayed his fear. The voice didn't answer. Instead, the golden mist surged inward. The ship's hull groaned as if under tremendous pressure. Sparks flew from the consoles, and the lights flickered wildly. "Commander, we're losing structural integrity," Terran shouted. Rail gritted his teeth. "Prepare the escape pods." But before anyone could act, the mist struck. A brilliant flash filled the cabin, blinding the crew. The ship was ripped apart, not by explosions or weaponry, but by a force that seemed to unravel it at a molecular level. The crew's screams were lost in the void as the horizon dissolved into nothingness. The Empire's reaction. Back on the Empire's flagship, Resolute, Admiral Calver received the distress signal, fragmented, incomplete, and haunting. The final words of Commander Rail were barely intelligible. Not technology, not human. Calver's fist clenched as the transmission cut out. For the first time in his career, he felt a pang of doubt. Whatever Earth was hiding, it wasn't a conventional weapon. It was something far more terrifying. He turned to his officers, his voice hard. "Earth has crossed a line. Assemble the fleet. We will not let this insult stand." But in the shadows of the war room, whispers of dissent began to grow. Even the most loyal officers couldn't ignore the unspoken question. Was Earth more dangerous than the Empire itself? On Earth, far below the Andes Mountains, in the secret chambers of the United Terran Council, a small group of scientists and leaders monitored their defense systems. "It worked," said Dr. Alina Greer, her voice a mix of awe and exhaustion. "The artifact responded perfectly." Council leader Ilara Kane nodded, but her expression remained serious. "For now. But we've only bought time. The Empire will come back, and when they do, they'll bring their full strength." She turned to the holographic display of the galaxy. "Activate Project Nexus. Earth must prepare for what's coming." And so, as the galaxy reeled from the destruction of the horizon, Earth quietly fortified its borders, knowing that the storm was only beginning. Earth's secret weapon. Deep within the Andes Mountains, hidden beneath layers of rock and reinforced steel, the United Terran Council gathered once again in their high-security chamber. The holographic map of the galaxy hovered above the central table, pulsating with the faint red dots that marked the Empire's growing fleet. The room was tense, the air thick with anticipation and dread. Council leader Ilara Kane stood at the head of the table, her sharp gaze sweeping over the assembled representatives. "The Empire has sent scouts into our territory," she began. "You've all seen the reports." None of them returned. A murmur rippled through the room. Some nodded in approval. Others exchanged uneasy glances. Dr. Alina Greer, the head scientist overseeing Earth's defense initiatives, cleared her throat. "Our artifact responded as expected. It neutralized the intrusions without exposing its full potential, but we can't rely on its instinctive reactions forever. The artifact is unpredictable." All eyes turned to the holographic image now displayed on the central table, a glowing crystalline structure the size of a small building. Its surface pulsed with golden light, and faint patterns swirled across its form like veins of living energy. "This is our secret weapon," Ilara said, her voice steady. "The artifact we discovered on Mars 20 years ago. It's the reason we dared to stand against the Galactic Empire." The artifact's origin. The artifact had been unearthed by an exploratory team on Mars during a routine excavation. Buried beneath layers of ancient rock, it was unlike anything humanity had encountered. Its surface emitted a faint hum, resonating at a frequency that defied all known laws of physics. At first, scientists believed it to be a relic of an extinct alien civilization. But as they studied it, the artifact began to respond. It generated bursts of energy that warped time and space in small, controlled fields. A simple experiment to measure its power once resulted in an entire research facility vanishing without a trace, only to reappear 2 minutes later, untouched but eerily cold, as if it had passed through another dimension. It didn't take long for the United Terran Council to classify the artifact as Earth's most valuable discovery, and its most dangerous. The power and the risk. Dr. Greer's voice broke the silence in the chamber. The artifact doesn't behave like traditional technology. It doesn't operate on commands or programming. It reacts, almost as if it has a will of its own. One of the representatives frowned. "Are you saying it's alive?" Dr. Greer hesitated. "Not alive in the way we understand life, but it seems to perceive its surroundings. When the Empire's scout ships crossed into our territory, the artifact detected them and responded accordingly. It created localized distortions in spacetime to neutralize the threats." "Neutralized," repeated a representative from Africa, a polite way of saying it destroyed them. Ilara interjected. "Destruction was necessary. The Empire doesn't respect diplomacy. They only understand power. And now, they fear us." "But for how long?" asked another representative, his voice trembling. "What happens when they send their full fleet? Can the artifact stop an armada?" Dr. Greer sighed. "The artifact's power is immense, but it's not limitless. Overuse could destabilize it. If that happens, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for Earth, but for the entire solar system." The room fell silent. The weight of their gamble pressed down on them like a physical force, a growing threat. Meanwhile, aboard the Resolute, Admiral Calvar stared at the latest reconnaissance reports with a mixture of frustration and unease. The loss of the Horizon and other scout ships was a blow to the Empire's reputation. More troubling, however, were the strange anomalies detected near Earth's borders. Calvar turned to his intelligence officer, Commander Laura Vex. "What do we know about this artifact?" "Very little," Vex admitted, her tone clipped. "Our analysts believe it's an alien construct, possibly predating the Empire itself. Its energy readings are unlike anything we've encountered. Whatever it is, it's the source of Earth's newfound confidence." Calvar's jaw tightened. "Confidence will only take them so far. Begin preparations for Operation Hammerfall. If Earth wants to test its strength against the Empire, we'll crush them." But deep down, a nagging doubt gnawed at Calvar's mind. The Galactic Empire had conquered countless worlds, each with its own defenses and secrets. Yet, none had wielded anything like the power Earth seemed to possess. For the first time, Calvar wondered if the Empire was truly prepared for what lay ahead. Earth's preparations. Back on Earth, preparations were underway for what the Council knew would be an inevitable confrontation. The artifact had been moved to a secure facility deep beneath the surface, its energies carefully monitored by a team of scientists and military strategists. In a dimly lit observation room, Ilara Kane stood beside Dr. Greer, watching the artifact pulse gently within its containment field. "Do you think it will hold?" Ilara asked quietly. Dr. Greer hesitated. "The containment field is stable, for now. But the artifact is evolving. Each time it activates, its energy signatures change slightly. It's almost as if it's learning." "Learning what?" "That's what worries me," Dr. Greer admitted. "We don't know." Ilara's gaze remained fixed on the artifact. "Then we'll have to make sure it learns the right lesson, that Earth will not bow to the Empire, no matter the cost." A new warning. As the Council worked tirelessly to fortify Earth's defenses, a strange event occurred. The artifact, unprompted, emitted a low-frequency hum that resonated through the containment facility. Lights flickered, and the room filled with a golden glow. Dr. Greer and her team scrambled to interpret the signals. "It's trying to communicate," she said, her voice trembling. The hum coalesced into a series of patterns on the monitors, a language humanity couldn't decipher. But one thing was clear: the artifact was aware of the Empire's growing fleet, and it was preparing itself for the coming battle. Earth had gambled everything on the artifact. But as its power continued to grow, so too did the uncertainty. Was it a savior or a ticking time bomb? Empire strikes back. The Galactic Empire's response was swift and merciless. Weeks after the disappearance of their scout ships, the largest armada ever assembled in the galaxy began to mobilize. Thousands of warships, shimmering with the light of distant stars, converged on the edge of Earth's forbidden zone. The Empire's flagship, the colossal Eternus, led the fleet, its shadow stretching across the void like a harbinger of doom. Admiral Calvar stood on the command deck of the Eternus, his cold eyes fixed on the holographic map displaying Earth's defenses. Beside him, Commander Laura Vex reviewed the fleet's battle plans. Operation Hammerfall is ready to proceed, Vex reported. Our forces are prepared to breach Earth's perimeter and overwhelm their defenses. Even if they have this artifact, they cannot withstand the might of the Empire. Calvar's lips curled into a thin smile. They've had their moment of defiance. Now, they'll understand what it means to challenge the Empire. The Celestial Hammer. In addition to its fleet, the Empire had deployed its most devastating weapon. The Celestial Hammer, a planet-killing superweapon, capable of unleashing energy powerful enough to shatter entire worlds. Encased in black, angular plating and bristling with energy conduits, the weapon loomed ominously behind the fleet, an unspoken threat of total annihilation. Inside the weapon's control station, Chief Engineer Direct Tiven monitored the hammer's systems with grim determination. "All systems are online," he reported. "We're ready to fire on your command, Admiral." Calvar nodded. "Hold position. Let's see if Earth tries to negotiate. If they refuse, we'll remind them of their place." Earth's response. On Earth, the United Terran Council had no illusions about the Empire's intentions. From their underground command center, Council leader Ilara Kane and her team watched the massive fleet assemble through holographic projections. The sight was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. "The Celestial Hammer," muttered General Hector Vallis, head of Earth's military forces. "They're not just here to subdue us. They're here to destroy us." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Not if we destroy them first. Dr. Greer, is the artifact ready?" Dr. Alina Greer hesitated, her expression conflicted. "The artifact is responding to the threat. Its energy output has increased exponentially, but I don't know if we can control it if we push it too far." "We don't have a choice," Ilara said firmly. "If the Empire fires that weapon, there won't be an Earth left to save." The first strike. The Empire made the first move. A squadron of advanced assault ships broke formation and surged toward Earth's perimeter. As they crossed the forbidden zone, the artifact reacted instantly. Golden tendrils of light erupted from the void, wrapping around the ships like living vines. The tendrils pulled the vessels apart piece by piece, reducing them to glowing debris. The Empire's fleet watched in stunned silence as the remains of their ships floated aimlessly in space. Admiral Calvar's expression darkened. "So, it's true. Their artifact defies our understanding." Commander Vex's voice was steady, but there was a hint of unease. "Should we proceed, sir?" Calvar's jaw tightened. "Proceed with the hammer. Show them we are not intimidated." The hammer's wrath. Aboard the Celestial Hammer, alarms blared as the weapon charged. Streams of blue energy converged in its core, growing brighter with each passing second. The energy condensed into a single glowing orb, an event horizon of destruction. "Target locked," Engineer Tiven announced. "Firing in 3, 2, 1. The orb erupted from the weapon's core, a beam of raw, unfathomable power hurtling toward Earth. But before it could reach the planet, the artifact responded. A ripple of golden energy surged outward from Earth's atmosphere, meeting the beam head-on. The collision created a shockwave that rippled across the solar system, scattering nearby asteroids and disrupting communications across the Empire's fleet. On Earth, the artifact pulsed violently. Inside the command center, alarms blared as Dr. Greer struggled to stabilize its energy output. "It's overloading," she shouted. Ilara gripped the edge of the table. "Can you stop it?" "I don't think it wants to stop," Dr. Greer replied, her voice filled with equal parts awe and terror. The artifact's counterattack. As the energy from the collision dissipated, the artifact unleashed its full fury. A massive golden rift appeared in the space above Earth, its edges shimmering like liquid fire. From the rift emerged countless energy constructs, shapes that resembled ships, but moved like living beings. The constructs surged toward the Empire's fleet, cutting through their defenses with surgical precision. One by one, warships were torn apart, their crews left helpless against the artifact's alien intelligence. On the Eternus, Calvar watched in horror as his fleet was decimated. "Pull back," he ordered. "Regroup and maintain distance." "But Admiral," Vex protested, "if we retreat now, we—" "I said pull back," Calvar roared. Earth's gamble. As the Empire's fleet withdrew, the artifact began to stabilize, its glow dimming to a steady pulse. In the command center, Dr. Greer slumped into a chair, her face pale. "We survived," she said weakly. "But the artifact, it's evolving. Each time it activates, it becomes harder to predict." Ilara Kane nodded, her expression grim. "We've bought ourselves time, but the Empire won't stop. Next time, they'll bring even more. We need to be ready." Dr. Greer glanced at the holographic display of the artifact. "The question is, will it still fight for us, or against us?" The Empire's new plans. Aboard the retreating Eternus, Admiral Calvar faced his remaining officers. His pride was wounded, but his resolve remained unbroken. "We underestimated Earth," he admitted, "but we've learned their secret. That artifact is their strength and their weakness." Commander Vex leaned forward. "Do you have a plan, sir?" Calvar's lips curled into a cold smile. "Yes, we'll find out where that artifact came from. And when we do, we'll bring Earth to its knees." As the shattered remnants of the Empire's fleet disappeared into hyperspace, Earth braced itself for the next phase of the conflict. A battle not just for survival, but for control of a power that could shape the fate of the galaxy. The Galactic Coup. The aftermath of the Empire's failed assault on Earth reverberated throughout the galaxy. News of the fleet's humiliating retreat spread like wildfire, fueling rumors and sowing dissent across Imperial territories. For the first time in centuries, cracks began to appear in the seemingly unshakable foundation of the Galactic Empire. Whispers of rebellion. In the sprawling city world of Rexus Prime, the political heart of the Empire, whispers of rebellion grew louder in the shadows. The Empire's defeat had emboldened its enemies and disillusioned its allies. Merchant guilds, alien factions, and even high-ranking Imperial officials began questioning the Emperor's leadership. On a dimly lit balcony overlooking the city, Senator Laren Vos met with a representative of the Verkani Alliance, an alien faction long oppressed by the Empire. "This is our moment," Vos whispered, his eyes scanning the night sky for spies. "Earth has shown us that the Empire isn't invincible. If we unite now, we can topple the regime." The Verkani envoy, a slender figure with iridescent scales, nodded. "And what of Earth? Will they support the cause?" Vos hesitated. "Earth's motives are unclear, but their artifact is the key. If we can learn to harness its power, the Empire won't stand a chance." Earth's new ally. Meanwhile, on Earth, the United Terran Council was aware of the turmoil spreading through the Empire. Intercepted transmissions revealed that rebel factions within the Empire were beginning to organize, and some had even reached out to Earth. In the Council's underground chamber, Ilara Kane reviewed a proposal from one such faction, the Vanguard of Free Systems, a coalition of alien species seeking independence from Imperial rule. General Hector Vallis frowned as he read the proposal. "They want access to the artifact in exchange for their support. That's a risk we can't afford." Dr. Greer adjusted her glasses, her tone cautious. "The artifact is unstable as it is. Sharing its secrets could backfire. But an alliance with these rebels could shift the balance of power in our favor." Ilara folded her arms, her gaze steady. "We don't need to give them the artifact. We need to give them hope. If we can prove that standing against the Empire is possible, they'll join us without hesitation. Spies among the stars. As Earth deliberated its next move, the Galactic Empire launched a new strategy: infiltration. Aboard the Resolute, Admiral Calvar met with Talon Dar, the Empire's most notorious operative, known for his ability to sow chaos and dismantle entire factions from within. "You will infiltrate Earth," Calvar ordered, his tone cold. "Discover the artifact's vulnerabilities, sabotage their defenses, and if possible, bring the artifact to us." Talon smirked, his sharp features reflecting the dim light of the war room. "Earth won't know what hit them." Disguised as a defector from the Empire, Talon slipped past Earth's perimeter in a small, unassuming vessel. He arrived on Earth with tales of imperial oppression and a plea for sanctuary. The council was divided. Some saw him as a valuable asset, while others suspected his true intentions. Unbeknownst to Talon, Earth had its own spies. One of them, Agent Rhea Carter, had already infiltrated the Empire weeks prior. Her mission: to uncover the Emperor's plans and gather intelligence on the Empire's inner turmoil. Seeds of distrust. Within the Empire, Agent Rhea's reports painted a picture of chaos. The Emperor, furious at the fleet's failure, had begun purging officers he deemed incompetent. Loyalists clashed with reformists, and whispers of rebellion reached even the highest levels of command. Rhea carefully manipulated the cracks, feeding false information to key figures and stoking the fires of dissent. In secret meetings with rebel leaders, she hinted at Earth's willingness to support their cause, further driving wedges between the Empire's factions. Back on Earth, Talon's presence began to sow distrust among the Council. He skillfully planted doubts about the loyalty of Earth's allies, suggesting that the rebel factions might betray Earth once the Empire was weakened. Dr. Greer confronted Ilara in private. "This defector, I don't trust him. He knows too much about the artifact for someone who claims to be a simple operative." Ilara nodded. "Keep a close eye on him. If he's working for the Empire, we'll expose him before he can do any damage." The turning point. In a remote sector of the galaxy, a secret meeting took place between representatives of Earth and the vanguard of free systems. The rebels brought with them a stolen piece of technology, an ancient data shard that contained partial schematics of a device resembling Earth's artifact. "It's not just Earth," the Vulcani envoy explained. "Artifacts like yours have been found on other worlds. The Empire destroyed most of them centuries ago, but some remnants survived. If we can piece together their secrets, we can finally end the Emperor's reign." Dr. Greer examined the shard with wide eyes. "This could explain why the artifact behaves the way it does. It's part of a network, a design that's far beyond anything we've imagined." But before the meeting could conclude, Imperial ships ambushed the gathering. Talon had betrayed the rebels, feeding their location to the Empire. As Earth's delegation scrambled to escape, a massive battle erupted, with rebel ships fighting valiantly to cover their retreat. The coup begins. The skirmish at the meeting marked a critical turning point. Earth's involvement with the rebels was now exposed, forcing the Empire to divert resources to suppress uprisings across its territories. In the chaos, Senator Laren Vos launched a coordinated coup on Vrexus Prime, seizing control of key communication hubs and declaring the formation of a galactic free union. The Empire, stretched thin and plagued by internal divisions, found itself fighting a war on two fronts, against the rebels and against Earth. On Earth, Ilara Kane addressed the Council. "The Empire is weakening, but we must not underestimate them. If they discover the full potential of the artifact, they will stop at nothing to claim it." Dr. Greer nodded. "And if we discover its full potential first?" Ilara's gaze hardened. "Then the galaxy will learn that Earth is not just a planet. They will learn that Earth is a power." The stage was set for a galactic upheaval, with Earth standing at the center of a conflict that would determine the fate of the stars. Earth's final stand. The galaxy teetered on the brink of collapse. The Galactic Empire, once an unshakable force, was now fighting a war on two fronts. Rebel factions had seized control of multiple star systems, while Earth's impenetrable defenses and mysterious artifact defied all attempts to subdue it. Yet within the chaos, one truth remained clear. The final confrontation between the Empire and Earth was inevitable. The Empire's gambit. Aboard the Eternus, Admiral Calvar stood before the Emperor's holographic projection, his jaw tight with determination. The Emperor's voice was calm, but laced with menace. "Admiral, your failures have cost us dearly. Earth's defiance is an open wound on the Empire's pride. It will not heal until they are crushed." Calvar bowed his head. "I will deliver you, Earth, your Majesty. This time, there will be no retreat." The Emperor gestured to a glowing orb hovering beside him. "This is the Eternity Core. It will be installed on the Celestial Hammer and used to amplify its destructive capabilities. With it, even Earth's artifact will fall." Calvar's eyes widened. The Eternity Core was a relic of ancient, forbidden technology, believed to harness the raw energy of collapsed stars. "But, Your Majesty, the core is unstable. If it—" "Do not lecture me on risks, Admiral," the Emperor interrupted. "You will use it, or I will find someone who will." Calvar clenched his fists. "As you command." Earth's dilemma. On Earth, preparations for the final stand were underway. Deep beneath the ends, the artifact pulsed with growing intensity, its energies unpredictable and volatile. Dr. Greer and her team worked tirelessly to stabilize it, but the artifact seemed to have its own agenda. "It's not just reacting to threats anymore," Greer explained during a council meeting. "It's evolving. The artifact is reaching out, as if it's searching for something." "Could it be aware of the Empire's plans?" Ilara Kane asked, her expression grave. Greer hesitated. "It's possible, but there's another problem. The artifact's energy levels are climbing exponentially. If we push it too far, it could detonate. An explosion powerful enough to destroy the entire solar system." The council fell silent. Finally, General Vallis broke the tension. "Then we hold the line and use the artifact as a last resort. If the Empire wants a fight, we'll give them one." The final assault. The Empire's fleet arrived in Earth's orbit like a tidal wave, stretching across the void in a seemingly endless line of warships. At its center, the Celestial Hammer loomed, now glowing with the deadly energy of the Eternity Core. Admiral Calvar issued a final warning. "Earth, surrender the artifact, or face total annihilation." Ilara Kane's response echoed across the Empire's communications channels. "Earth does not kneel." Calvar's lips curled into a snarl. "Then you will burn." The battle began with a thunderous barrage from the Empire's warships. Earth's orbital defenses responded in kind, unleashing a storm of missiles and plasma bursts. But it was the artifact that stole the show. Golden tendrils of energy erupted from the planet's surface, weaving through space like living beings. They pierced through enemy ships, disintegrating them in seconds. Entire squadrons vanished in blinding flashes of light. On the Eternus, Calvar watched the destruction unfold. "Activate the hammer," he ordered. The artifact's revelation. As the Celestial Hammer charged, the artifact on Earth began to pulse erratically. In the underground command center, Dr. Greer's team struggled to contain its energy. "It's resonating with the Eternity Core," Greer shouted. "They're connected." "Connected how?" Ilara demanded. Greer's fingers flew across the console. "The artifact isn't just a weapon. It's a beacon. The core is part of the same ancient network. They're trying to communicate." Before anyone could respond, the artifact emitted a deafening hum. A holographic projection filled the room, displaying a vast galactic map. At its center was an ancient symbol, glowing brighter than any star. "What is that?" Ilara whispered. Greer's voice trembled. "A warning. The hammer fires." Back in orbit, the Celestial Hammer unleashed its devastating beam, a colossal torrent of energy aimed directly at Earth. The artifact responded instantly, generating a golden shield that absorbed the attack. The resulting collision sent shockwaves rippling across the solar system, disrupting the Empire's fleet and disabling Earth's satellites. But the strain on the artifact was immense. Cracks appeared in its crystalline structure, and its pulsing light grew erratic. "It can't hold much longer," Greer warned. "If the Empire fires again." "They won't get the chance," Ilara interrupted. "Initiate Project Horizon." Earth's counterstrike. Project Horizon was Earth's final gambit, hidden beneath the surface of the moon. A massive energy cannon powered by the artifact's excess energy came online. Its targeting systems locked onto the celestial hammer, and in a blinding flash, the cannon fired. The beam struck the hammer's core, triggering a catastrophic reaction. The Eternity core collapsed in on itself, creating a massive singularity that consumed the hammer and several nearby Imperial ships. The Empire's fleet fell into disarray, retreating as the singularity threatened to engulf them. On the Eternus, Calvar issued the order to withdraw, his face etched with defeat. The artifact's final act. As the Empire fled, the artifact's energy reached critical levels. In its final moments, it emitted a pulse of golden light that spread across the galaxy. The pulse disrupted Imperial communication systems, bolstered rebel networks, and ignited dormant artifacts on distant worlds. And then the artifact shattered. In the silence that followed, Ilara Kane stood in the command center, watching the glowing fragments slowly dim. "We've won," she said softly. "But at what cost?" A new era. With the Empire crippled and the artifact gone, Earth emerged as a symbol of defiance and hope. The rebel factions, emboldened by Earth's victory, launched coordinated strikes across the galaxy, driving the Empire further into retreat. But the artifact's final pulse had left behind more questions than answers. On distant worlds, newly activated artifacts began to hum with life, their purpose unknown. As Earth prepared for an uncertain future, Ilara Kane addressed her people. "We have proven that even the smallest voices can stand against the mightiest tyrants. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is waking, and we must be ready for what comes next." The final battle was over, but the galaxy's greatest mysteries were just beginning to unfold. The New Order. The galaxy was forever changed. The Galactic Empire, once unassailable, was fractured and reeling. Rebel factions had seized key territories, and Earth stood as a beacon of resistance and independence. Yet victory brought as many questions as it did triumphs. The pulse from the shattered artifact had awakened forces no one fully understood, and whispers of new powers rising in the galaxy spread like wildfire. The shattered empire. On the imperial capital of Rexus Prime, chaos reigned. The Emperor, long thought to be invincible, had gone silent. His advisors and generals squabbled over control of the remnants of the empire. Factions formed within the crumbling regime, each vying for dominance. In a darkened council chamber, Admiral Calvar stood before a gathering of imperial loyalists. His once pristine uniform was battle-worn, his face shadowed by defeat but hardened with resolve. "The Emperor is gone," Calvar declared, his voice cutting through the murmurs. "The Empire as we knew it is over, but we are not. Earth and its allies think they've won, but they've only weakened us. This is not the end. It is a reckoning." Calvar's faction, known as the Iron Remnant, pledged to rebuild the Empire, but not as it once was. They sought to reclaim power through unity, innovation, and a brutal determination to erase their defeat. Earth's fragmented victory. On Earth, the United Terran Council celebrated its survival, but knew that peace was fragile. The artifact was gone, its fragments scattered across Earth's surface, but its final pulse had left a profound impact. Strange phenomena began appearing. Ripples in spacetime, sudden gravitational anomalies, and bursts of golden light that defied explanation. Dr. Alina Greer led a team to study the largest fragment, housed in a secure facility in Antarctica. The shard glowed faintly, its surface alive with shifting patterns. "It's still active," Greer said, her voice tinged with both awe and fear. "But it's different now. Less reactive, more intentional." "What does that mean?" Ilara Kane asked, standing beside her. "It means," Greer replied, "that it may be waiting for something, or someone." The pulse's reach. Across the galaxy, the pulse from Earth's artifact awakened dormant relics on other worlds. In the deserts of Icarus 9, a long-buried structure rose from the sands, its alien geometry glowing with the same golden light as Earth's artifact. On the ice moon of Veltrin, a frozen monolith began to hum, its vibrations strong enough to shatter glaciers. Rebel factions scrambled to investigate these phenomena, hoping to claim the newfound power for themselves. However, they were not alone. The Iron Remnant, guided by stolen intelligence from Earth's shattered artifact, launched covert operations to retrieve these awakened relics. A new alliance. In the midst of the turmoil, Earth convened a historic summit with rebel leaders and neutral factions. Held aboard the Unity, a newly constructed orbital station, the summit aimed to establish a coalition that could maintain peace and stability in the galaxy. Ilara Kane stood at the center of the gathering, her voice resolute. "The Empire's tyranny is ending, but if we are not careful, chaos will take its place. Together, we can create something new, a galactic order built on freedom, cooperation, and trust." The proposal was met with cautious optimism. Representatives from the vanguard of free systems, the Vulcani Alliance, and other factions agreed to form the Galactic Concord, a coalition dedicated to rebuilding the galaxy without the shadow of imperial rule. The artifact's legacy. As Earth solidified its alliances, Dr. Greer's team made a startling discovery. The fragments of the artifact, when brought close together, began to resonate, generating faint holographic projections of ancient star maps. These maps pointed to a region of the galaxy known as the Eclipse Expanse, an uncharted sector shrouded in anomalies. "This could be where the artifacts originated," Greer explained to the Council. "If we follow the maps, we might uncover the source of their power and the truth about the ancient civilization that created them." Ilara considered the implications. "If we go, we risk exposing ourselves to dangers we can't predict. If we don't, others will, and they may not use what they find wisely." The Council voted to send an expedition, assembling a fleet of Earth's finest ships, accompanied by allied vessels from the Galactic Concord. The mission: to explore the Eclipse Expanse and uncover the secrets of the ancient artifacts. A looming threat. Unbeknownst to Earth and its allies, the Iron Remnant had already sent their own expedition to the Eclipse Expanse, using intelligence stolen by Talandar, who had vanished after betraying Earth. They aimed to claim the source of the artifact's power for themselves. Admiral Calvar, now the de facto leader of the Iron Remnant, addressed his crew aboard the Invictus, a warship outfitted with the most advanced technology salvaged from the Empire's collapse. "The galaxy will remember the Empire not for its fall, but for its rebirth," Calvar declared. "And this power will be ours. The dawn of a new era." The story's final moments shifted between scenes of the Galactic Concord's expedition fleet departing for the Eclipse Expanse and the Iron Remnant racing toward the same destination. Both factions, driven by different visions for the galaxy, were on a collision course that would determine the fate of all. On Earth, Ilara Kane stood on the observation deck of the Unity, watching the expedition fleet vanish into hyperspace. "This isn't the end," she murmured. "It's just the beginning." Meanwhile, in the depths of the Eclipse Expanse, something stirred. Ancient constructs, long dormant, flickered to life. The pulse from Earth's artifact had awakened them, and they were waiting for the arrival of the living. Whether as allies or adversaries, no one could say. The galaxy stood on the precipice of a new order, its future shaped by the choices of those bold enough to venture into the unknown.